Welcome to my channel Old Valuable Chiller and this detailed and informative video about the 1-cent coin from the United States, minted in 1944, also commonly known as the 1944 Lincoln wheat cent. This coin holds a very special place in American numismatic history, not only because of its design and symbolism, but also because of the fascinating context of World War II, the metal composition used at the time, and its popularity among collectors. If you are a coin collector, coin enthusiast, or someone curious about the value, history, and importance of old US pennies, then this video is going to provide you with everything you need to know about the 1944 Lincoln wheat cent. The 1-cent coin from 1944 was produced in very large numbers by the United States Mint. After the unusual wartime production of 1943 steel cents, the Mint returned to using copper-based alloys in 1944. This was due to the public complaints about the steel cents rusting and being confused with dimes, as well as the military's reduced need for copper compared to earlier wartime years. The 1944 cent is composed primarily of copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc. This makes it visually very similar to pre-1943 cents and helps explain why it is such an iconic and familiar coin. The obverse of the coin features the classic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which first appeared in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. The obverse shows Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1944 to the right. Depending on the mint mark, you may see no mint mark for Philadelphia, a small d for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. These mint marks can have a major impact on the value and rarity of the coin. The reverse of the 1944 penny continues with the wheat ears design, showing two stalks of wheat curving inward, symbolizing prosperity and abundance in America. At the top is the motto E Pluribus Unum, while the center of the coin boldly displays 1 cent and United States of America. This wheat reverse design is why the coin is often referred to as a wheat penny among collectors. Now let's talk about mintage. In 1944, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion pennies, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions, and the San Francisco Mint contributed hundreds of millions as well. Combined, this makes the 1944 wheat cent one of the most common coins from the 1940s. Yet, despite the large production, collectors value them for their history, and certain varieties and conditions can be highly sought after. One of the most interesting facts about the 1944 1-cent coin is the existence of transitional errors. During the transition back from steel cents in 1943 to copper cents in 1944, a very small number of coins were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets. These 1944 steel cents are extremely rare, and they can sell for thousands of dollars at auctions depending on condition and authenticity. Similarly, a few 1944 cents have been found struck on foreign planchets or with other unusual errors, making them highly collectible. When it comes to value, the standard 1944 Lincoln wheat cent is generally affordable in circulated condition, often worth just a few cents above face value. However, in uncirculated condition with strong luster and sharp details, the price can rise significantly. Coins graded at high mint state levels, especially those with red or red-brown designations, can be worth several dollars to hundreds of dollars. Rare errors like the 1944 steel penny, or coins with double die obverse or reverse varieties, can command prices well into the thousands. Collectors often look at key details to assess a 1944 penny. This includes the sharpness of Lincoln's hair and beard, the clarity of the wheat stalks on the reverse, and the overall color and luster. Red examples are considered the most desirable, as copper tends to darken over time to a brownish tone. That is why coins carefully preserved from circulation are much more valuable. The 1944 wheat cent also carries immense historical significance. It was minted during the height of World War II, a time when the United States was fully engaged in the conflict. Coins from this era serve as everyday reminders of the sacrifices and determination of the American people. Holding a 1944 penny connects us to that era, when families were buying war bonds, soldiers were overseas, and industries across America were dedicated to the war effort. From a numismatic perspective, the 1944 penny is an excellent starting point for new collectors because it is accessible, affordable, and yet historically rich. At the same time, it offers advanced collectors the opportunity to hunt for rare errors and mint state gems. Many people who first begin coin collecting start with wheat pennies, and the 1944 is often one of the earliest coins they encounter. In terms of investment, while common 1944 pennies may not provide significant financial gain, the rare error varieties and top-graded coins certainly do. Auction houses have recorded impressive prices for 1944 steel cents and other varieties, making them dream finds for treasure hunters and metal detector enthusiasts. Another interesting aspect is the sentimental value of the 1944 penny. For many people, this coin was in circulation for decades after its minting, often found in pocket change well into the 1960s and 1970s. It is not unusual for families to still find a 1944 wheat cent in old jars, drawers, or inherited collections, adding an emotional connection to the coin's historical and monetary worth. Today, the 1944 Lincoln wheat cent continues to be a favorite subject of YouTube videos, coin guides, collector forums, and online marketplaces. People often search for information about whether their 1944 penny is rare, valuable, or worth holding onto. By understanding the key features, such as mint mark, condition, luster, and error possibilities, you can determine whether your coin is an everyday wheat cent or a rare treasure. So, whether you are a seasoned collector or someone who just discovered a 1944 penny in change or an old family box, this coin has an incredible story to tell. From its roots in the history of Abraham Lincoln cent design, to its production during World War II, to its place in the hobby of numismatics today, the 1944 Lincoln wheat cent is more than just a piece of copper. It is a connection to American history, a collectible item with potential value, and a symbol of endurance during one of the most challenging times in US history. First up, today's video where we will explore the fascinating history, value, and details of the 1945 1-cent coin from the United States. The 1945 Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most collected coins in American numismatics, and in this video we are going to discuss everything you need to know about it in depth. If you are a collector, investor, or simply curious about the story of this penny, then stay tuned, because this will be a complete guide that covers history, design, errors, varieties, mint marks, and the potential value of the 1945 penny in today's coin market. The 1945 1-cent coin belongs to the famous Lincoln wheat penny series, also called Lincoln wheat cent, which was struck from 1909 until 1958. This series features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the wheat penny has become one of the most iconic coins in American coinage history. The 1945 penny is especially interesting because it was struck during the final year of World War II. Millions of these coins were minted, and they served not only as a means of commerce but also as a small reminder of an era filled with sacrifice, resilience, and change. Now let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse, you will find the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln with the motto "In God We Trust" above, the word "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1945 to the right. Depending on the mint location, you may see a mint mark letter such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco under the date, while Philadelphia coins have no mint mark. On the reverse, you see the 2 wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent, the legend United States of America, and the phrase E pluribus unum. This simple yet powerful design has made the wheat penny one of the most collected American coins. In terms of minting, the 1945 penny was struck at 3 different U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint struck the largest number, with over 1 billion coins produced. The Denver mint struck hundreds of millions, and the San Francisco mint also contributed a large quantity, though relatively fewer compared to Philadelphia. Because of these huge mintages, the 1945 penny is generally considered common. However, condition and errors can make certain examples far more valuable than others. Collectors often ask about the metal composition of the 1945 1-cent coin. Unlike the 1943 steel cent, which was made of zinc-coated steel to save copper for the war effort, the 1945 penny returned to the traditional bronze composition. It contains 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This means that these coins have a warm reddish-brown appearance, although many have toned to brown over the decades due to circulation and age. Because copper was once an essential wartime material, the return to bronze composition in 1944 and 1945 symbolized the transition back to normal coin production. Let's talk about value. The 1945 1-cent coin in circulated condition is often worth just a few cents to collectors, because of its high mintage and wide availability. However, when it comes to uncirculated examples, especially those with strong luster, red color, and sharp strikes, the value can climb significantly. A 1945 penny in mint state red condition can sell for several dollars up to tens of dollars depending on the grade, and in top condition certified by grading companies, prices can be much higher. The highest quality examples graded MS67 or MS68 red can bring hundreds or even over $1,000 at auction. Error coins from 1945 are especially interesting. Some popular error types include double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and repunched mint marks. These errors add rarity and uniqueness, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. A simple off-center strike might bring $20 to $50 depending on the degree, while dramatic doubled dies or highly desirable errors can command hundreds of dollars. Always check your 1945 pennies carefully, because even a common coin can become a treasure if it has the right kind of mint error. Another important factor is the difference between Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco issues. While all are relatively common, coins from San Francisco often carry a slightly higher premium in uncirculated grades. Collectors love mint mark varieties, so always check under the date to see if you have a 1945S or 1945D penny. Philadelphia issues with no mint mark are the most common, but even these can be valuable in high grade. When collecting the 1945 penny, you should consider condition and color designations. Grading services often classify Lincoln cents as brown, red-brown, or red, depending on how much of the original copper color remains. Red pennies are the most desirable and valuable, while brown coins are the least. Red-brown falls in the middle. If you happen to find a 1945 penny that still retains its full red luster, you may have a gem worth holding on to. In addition to value and grading, let's not forget the historical significance. Owning a 1945 penny means holding a piece of World War II history in your hands. Imagine the hands this coin may have passed through: soldiers, factory workers, farmers, and families all using these coins during a time when the world was changing rapidly. It is more than just a coin. It is a tangible connection to American history and the story of resilience during wartime. For new collectors, the 1945 penny is a great starting point. It is affordable, widely available, and easy to find in coin shops, online auctions, and even in inherited collections. Its common nature makes it accessible, but the potential for rare gems and error coins adds excitement. Whether you are building a full Lincoln wheat penny set or just collecting a few key dates, the 1945 penny deserves a place in your collection. If you want to maximize the value of your 1945 1-cent coin, make sure to store it properly. Use protective holders or coin flips to prevent scratches and fingerprints. Keep them in a dry, cool place to avoid corrosion. If you believe your coin is of high quality or features an error, consider sending it to a professional grading service for certification. In summary, the 1945 1-cent coin from the United States is a fascinating piece of numismatic history. With over a billion minted, it may seem common, but condition, errors, and mint marks can make certain examples worth much more than face value. Its design by Victor David Brenner, its connection to World War II history, and its enduring popularity with collectors make it an important coin in American coinage. Whether worth a few cents or several $100s, the 1945 penny tells a story that continues to capture the imagination of coin enthusiasts worldwide. Next up, the 1-cent coin from the United States dated 1959. This coin, also known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, carries a special place in American numismatic history. Collectors and coin enthusiasts value the 1959 penny not only for its monetary history but also because it marked a major design change. In this video, I'll take you through the history, design, minting details, varieties, interesting facts, and collectible value of the 1959 1-cent coin from the United States. So stay tuned as we dive deep into everything you need to know about this iconic coin. The 1-cent coin of 1959 is particularly significant because it was the very first year that the Lincoln Memorial reverse design was introduced. From 1909 until 1958, the Lincoln cent featured the famous wheat ears design on the back, which is why earlier coins are called wheat cents or wheat pennies. But in 1959, to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the United States Mint replaced the wheat ears with the Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparro. This design would remain on the reverse of the 1-cent coin for 50 years, until 2008. That makes the 1959 penny historically important, as it was the first of a long-running design series. On the obverse, or front side, the 1959 penny features the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. The words "In God We Trust" are inscribed across the top, Liberty is on the left side, and the date 1959 is on the right side of Lincoln's portrait. Some coins may also carry a mint mark just below the date, depending on where they were struck. The reverse side shows the Lincoln Memorial, with the words United States of America at the top and E pluribus unum just beneath it. At the bottom, the denomination 1 cent is boldly inscribed. Interestingly, if you look closely with magnification, you can actually see a tiny image of the Lincoln statue inside the memorial, making Lincoln appear on both the obverse and reverse of the coin, a unique detail in U.S. coinage history. Now, let's talk about minting. The 1959 Lincoln Memorial Cent was struck at two main mints, Philadelphia and Denver. Coins minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark, while those minted in Denver carry a D mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 609 million coins in 1959, while the Denver Mint struck over 1.2 billion coins. With such high mintages, the 1959 penny is generally common, and many examples still circulate today. In terms of composition, the 1959 penny was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This traditional bronze composition had been used for decades, giving the coin its classic reddish-brown color when freshly minted. Over time, however, these coins often turn darker brown due to oxidation, though collectors prize coins that have retained their original red luster. When it comes to varieties and errors, the 1959 1-cent coin has some interesting examples. One of the most famous and controversial is the so-called 1959 D wheat reverse cent. This is a coin that supposedly has the 1959 D obverse but with the old wheat reverse instead of the new Lincoln Memorial reverse. While its authenticity has been debated, it remains a mysterious and legendary coin in the hobby. Aside from that, collectors also look for doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes among 1959 cents, which can make a common coin far more valuable. In circulated condition, most 1959 pennies are worth only face value, or a few cents to collectors, because of their massive production. However, uncirculated examples, especially those with brilliant red color and high grades, can fetch a premium. In mint state grades like MS65 or higher, the coin becomes more desirable to collectors. Some coins graded MS67 or above with full red surfaces have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Let's take a closer look at what collectors seek. For example, a 1959 penny in average circulated condition is worth only about 1 cent to 5 cents. In uncirculated condition, with a grade of MS63 red, the value may range between $2 and $5. In MS65 red, values increase to around $10 to $20. Exceptional coins graded MS67 red can sell for a few $100s or more, and superb register quality coins have been known to reach four-figure prices. The same applies to the 1959 D penny, where higher-grade coins with full red luster are significantly more valuable than common circulated examples. Another interesting aspect is the transition from the wheat cent to the memorial cent. Many collectors see 1959 as the dividing line between the classic Lincoln wheat pennies, which spanned from 1909 to 1958, and the modern memorial cents, which lasted until 2008. As such, the 1959 cent is often collected as a first year of issue coin. Some collectors even like to keep it alongside the 1958 wheat cent as a pair to show the design transition. For those who enjoy searching through rolls of pennies, the 1959 1-cent coin is still a common find. Because of the large mintage, you may still come across them in circulation, especially in the United States. However, finding a pristine example with original red luster straight from a bankroll is much rarer today than it was decades ago. Coin roll hunters still enjoy looking for these coins, hoping to discover one in exceptional condition. The 1959 penny also carries sentimental value for many people. Since it was minted over 60 years ago, some people still have these coins passed down from parents or grandparents. They are often kept in jars, boxes, or collections as keepsakes, symbolizing a connection to the past. For coin collectors, the 1959 penny represents not just a monetary object, but also a piece of American history and artistry. If you're interested in collecting 1959 1-cent coins, the best advice is to look for high-grade examples. Red uncirculated coins are the most desirable. These are coins that were preserved carefully and never entered circulation, keeping their original mint color. Grading services often describe coins as red, red-brown, or brown, depending on how much of that original copper luster remains. A fully red coin from 1959 is scarcer than one that has toned to brown, and therefore it commands a higher price. It's also worth mentioning that proof coins were made in 1959 at the Philadelphia Mint. Proof coins are struck using specially polished dies and planchets, resulting in mirror-like fields and sharp details. The 1959 proof cents are highly collectible, especially in high grades with deep cameo contrast. Proof sets from 1959 are still available to collectors, and the penny within those sets is often sought after for its beauty and quality. In summary, the 1959 1-cent coin from the United States is far more than just a small piece of copper. It marks a turning point in American coinage with the introduction of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, replacing the beloved wheat ears design. With over 1.8 billion coins minted across Philadelphia and Denver, it is common in circulation but still fascinating for collectors. High-grade uncirculated and proof examples can carry strong value, and varieties or errors only add to the excitement. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or just beginning to explore coin collecting, the 1959 penny is a coin worth learning about and adding to your collection. By understanding the history, design, minting process, varieties, and values of the 1959 penny, collectors can truly appreciate its place in U.S. coinage history. Now we will explore the 1974 1-cent coin from the United States, also known as the 1974 Lincoln penny, is one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatic history. The coin carries the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, designed by Victor David Brenner, first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth. By 1974, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for decades, but this year is especially important for coin collectors because of the minting variations, the experimental aluminum cents, and the sheer historical and collectible value associated with this year's penny. The obverse design of the 1974 1-cent coin shows Lincoln's right-facing portrait with the word Liberty to the left and the year 1974 on the right. Above Lincoln's head, you can see the motto "In God We Trust." The reverse design features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum are inscribed above, with the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. Now, let's dive into the details that make the 1974 penny unique. In 1974, the United States Mint was experimenting with different materials for the cent because copper prices were rising. Traditionally, Lincoln cents from 1909 through most of the 20th century were composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, in 1974, the mint struck experimental aluminum cents to reduce costs. About 1.5 million aluminum cents were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, but almost all were later destroyed and never released for circulation. Only a handful are known to exist today, making them extremely rare and valuable. If you ever hear about the 1974 aluminum penny, know that it's considered one of the most legendary rarities in American coinage. For circulation strikes, however, the 1974 pennies remained copper-based. The official composition was 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams, with a diameter of 90 millimeters. These coins were produced in large quantities across 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coins carry no mint mark, the Denver mint coins display the D mint mark, and the San Francisco mint coins carry the S mint mark. The mintage numbers were huge. In Philadelphia, over 4.2 billion pennies were struck. In Denver, production was even higher, with more than 4.2 billion as well. The San Francisco Mint, which mostly struck coins for proof sets, produced around 2.6 million proof pennies in 1974. Because of these massive mintages, the 1974 penny is common in circulation even today, and many examples can be found in pocket change. But while common in lower grades, the 1974 penny becomes collectible in high grades, especially in mint state and proof condition. Collectors seek out coins with full luster, sharp details, and no contact marks. A 1974 penny graded MS65 or higher can sell for significantly more than face value. Proof examples from San Francisco, especially those with cameo or deep cameo contrast, are also highly collectible. There are also notable varieties and errors for the 1974 penny that collectors are always hunting for. One of the most famous is the 1974 double die obverse penny. In this variety, the lettering and numbers on the obverse show noticeable doubling, which can be seen on the date and inscriptions. Double die varieties are always popular with collectors because of their uniqueness and rarity. Another interesting aspect is the small differences in strike quality among the different mints, with Denver minted coins often showing sharper details compared to some from Philadelphia. For coin collectors, the 1974 penny represents both accessibility and intrigue. It's a coin that is easy to find in circulation, making it perfect for beginner collectors, yet it also carries a story of one of the most important experiments in U.S. coinage history, the aluminum cent. This dual appeal makes it special. When evaluating the value of a 1974 penny, condition and rarity are the key factors. A circulated example is generally worth just 1 cent, but uncirculated examples can be worth several dollars. Proof coins, especially with deep cameo designations, can be worth much more depending on their grade. And of course, if we consider the almost mythical 1974 aluminum penny, its value could reach into the six-figure range if one were ever legally sold. The story of the 1974 penny is also a story of American history and economics. Rising copper prices in the early 1970s forced the mint to consider alternatives, reflecting how even small denomination coins are affected by global metal markets. The aluminum cent experiment shows how the mint was willing to innovate, even though the public and Congress eventually rejected the idea due to concerns about vending machine compatibility and medical safety issues with aluminum coins.